more can I say?
Top Billin. All right, Top Billin, your boy is back. G-Men, G-Nation, all my G-Unit people out there. Man, they are putting the G in G-Men with the type of gangsters that they've assembled on this particular roster here now. Let's get down to the brass tacks of the matter. People are going to look at this and be like, yo, Murph, why are you talking about the defensive secondary? Aren't there more pressing needs up and down the roster? To that I say, perhaps. But as a teacher once told me when I was a youth, the answers are always on the test. So I liken that to what I see right here from your man Dave Gettleman, who was absolutely in his bag in free agency. Quiet as kept. If you talk about player development, and there's still some more player development to be done, the draft, and just the overall assembly of what I like to call G-Unit right here, this gorilla unit on both sides of the ball, man, I'm absolutely in love with. To me, one of the better rosters in the entire NFL, and especially if we're talking about the defensive side of the ball. The secondary is absolutely loaded. You mean to tell me Jabril Peppers is on a team with my man Xavier McKinney, the X Factor himself, right? The Weapon X that you can play all over the field. And I'm talking about both of these guys in the secondary also with the damn dude like Logan Ryan, another Weapon X type player that you can play all over the field. And then you have a cornerstone franchise type in James Bradbury. And then you go out and sign an Adoree Jackson, one of the better athletes in all of football. And then you still have guys like Darnay Holmes and Julian Love. Man, I'm pretty sure I'm even forgetting some people. So think about that. These dudes are loaded on the back end. The front end, Big Leo Williams playing with Dexter Lawrence, and you signed Danny Shelton to tie up a few blockers there and to work the shade and to make sure Leo could stay a little bit cleaner. So people are going to say, Murph, what about the edge? Okay, the answers are on the test. O'Shane Zimenez, I think that he can definitely add to his game, add to his arsenal, but I think he's a nice base piece. Your man Lorenzo Carter, I think, can be very good. Coming off that Achilles tendon injury, though, but shit, Ifeadi Odenigbo you went out and signed, and you got Ryan Anderson, a cat from Alabama. Remember, this is a SEC-type team right here, nothing but SEC players from Alabama and from Georgia, and you got Ryan Anderson, who is a very capable player himself. The answers are on the test. Now, any of those guys super premium? I don't think so. But tell me this. At the 11th pick, is there anybody worth the 11th pick that plays edge? The closest to me, if we're talking about Patrick Graham's G-Unit defense, would be probably my boy Azeez Ojulari. As much as I like Azeez Ojulari, I don't think he's worth the 11th selection in the draft. Maybe at 18, which I suggested for the Miami Dolphins, running a similar defense, somewhere around that range from 18 maybe up, or maybe 15 and up. So you probably say, man, what's the difference in that? To me, it's a drastic difference just by the way the draft sets up. If you have premium positions that you always have to concentrate on first, the first 4 picks could be QBs. That pushes guys that would normally be a top 5 pick down the board, whether it be a Kyle Pitts or a Jalen Waddle, right? Jalen Waddle, even as little as he is, man, you're talking about a guy who can be Steve Smith Sr. all over again. To me, Steve Smith Sr. in hindsight was definitely worth the top 5 pick. He's a Hall of Famer. Or you can compare him to a Tyreek Hill or somebody who's a 4-time All-Pro or whatever he is. He can have that type of impact on a team. If he's there for the Giants, I say you go with that. If he's not there, I don't see the edge being a concern right there. I definitely can see them adding to the arsenal with the wide receiver core. But think about this. If you have Golladay, you have one of the best deep threats already. And my man Darius Slayton, he can go and get that thing. And Lieutenant Danby, we know he has legs, but we know he can get that thing down the field as well. Working the vertical game, which they will be doing ad nauseum next year. I can trust and believe that. And you still have Sterling Shepard and other guys along that line. Evan Ingram playing on the inside as well. So it's not a direct need. And to me, wide receivers deep, you can get these guys in the second round and you can have somebody who could perform maybe like a Devontae Smith. I'm quite sure of it. You can find somebody down the line. This is a deep-ass wide receiver core. As a matter of fact, I would actually rather them address somebody who's a complete inside receiver or somebody who is in the mode of a Kenny Golladay just in case, right? Just in case something happens to him. We've seen him have a little bit of injury concern. There are some big X-receiver types out there who can absolutely go and get it. So I'll suggest that there on another content item. But I want to concentrate on my man Patrick Surtain. He fits this to a T, to an absolute T. He played in a scheme very similar. He played in a scheme very similar at Alabama. And, of course, the carryover to Patrick Graham's defense, you're talking about single high safety, a lot of vertical bell, whether it be from a deep third coverage or quarters coverage. They'll play a lot of man free as well. Just a very multiplistic defense, and he fits that to a T. Man, check it out right here. Look at his numbers. All right, so 6'2", 208 pounds, finding corners above 200 pounds that can run. That's a rarity, and they don't have to be able to absolutely fly. You leave that to your guys in the 190-pound range like a Darius Slay or somebody like that, because they're going to be able to cover a little bit more range, but they're going to also have a strength-based game that can kind of mitigate some of the concerns you may have with speed. But he's not slow by any stretch of the imagination. 39-inch vert, 131 in the broad. Ran a 4.46. So think about this. Remember, these are pro day times. These are handheld times. Anybody with any type of brain or any type of football acumen knows you never take pro day times as the gospel. It's just what you don't do. So I always think 6 to 8 tenths of a second off. So he's in the 4 or 5 range. That's exactly what I thought he would run. But he's such a long dude, pause, that it doesn't matter, man. It's like if you talk about catch radiuses for wide receivers, you got to also do the same thing for defensive backs with that type of length. So, you know who he always reminded me of? Yep, this guy right here, a man by the name of James Bradberry. So if people are more realistic with their approach to comparisons, right? You can't compare everybody to Hall of Famers and everything like that. You got to be more realistic. A guy like James Bradberry is the absolute truth. He's just an unknown, right? But I woke him up last year and was telling people how good James Bradberry is and how good he was going to be. Finally made Pro Bowl and or whatever like that. To me, he deserves all pro. But 6 foot 3/4, so pretty much 6'1". I think Patrick Surtain was really like 6'1" in maybe like a 3/4 or something like that. So round that up. 211 pounds for your boy Bradberry. So they're very similar in weight, so very similar in height, and a 4.5, which I believe Patrick Surtain would have ran at an actual NFL combine like Bradberry did there. Very similar skill set. Both work really good to me in vertical bell schemes, and the Giants do just that. As a matter of fact, check this out. All right, so here we go. You can tell by the outside technique being played here and the outside leverage that they have as well that they're going to be working some type of zone. Obviously, you have eyes on quarterback, but what I mean by vertical bell is you see right here out of the chute, you see them right there? They take off. They're not waiting for the receiver to get to them. They're belling on the receiver and staying on top of the receiver there, and you can say that like I said before, mitigates maybe if you did have a speed issue right there. If this is Tyreek Hill and you're getting on top of him and the guy can run or whatever like that, then obviously he's probably not going to beat you deep. It's going to be a risk-adverse type situation, but as you can see right here, you also got to have somebody that can really get to the underneath. You see Carson Wentz is able to complete that pass because they're trying not to get beat deep there. But a guy like James Bradberry is adept at coming out of his pedal and working back down the chute and really attacking a pass like this, but this particular coverage call for just not getting beat deep there. So just the cover 3 shell there. You see Logan Ryan, he took to the post. So he'd be working the post right there. That's your cover 3 shell right here, all out there. So check this out with your man Patrick Surtain. A lot of people have mislabeled Alabama as a pure man team, and they're not. They're a zone-based team. And you can see right here, same exact thing as you saw with the previous frame with the New York Giants. See that vertical bell? The receiver goes inside. Receiver running a drag route right here, Seth Williams, who's a guy that the Giants definitely still look at. He will be that guy in the mold of a Kenny Golladay there. But we can talk about that another time right there. You see right there, he doesn't follow the receiver inside. He works vertical. his zone is all this. He's covering this grass or field. He's not covering a receiver. But they will oscillate to certain coverages. As you can see right here, he's back on Seth Williams. But it looks like man coverage because Seth Williams is working vertically. You see him break up the pass right there. Now, they call holding on this. I don't like this right here, right? To me, this is good body positioning. Seth turns inside of him right there. They're both fighting for leverage against each other there. I don't see how that can be on the defense. But you can see that length right there, able to get up, bat away the pass. I actually love that particular coverage right there. It just depends on your ref, right? It's like an umpire in baseball. It depends on the strike zone. You can see him right here. I'm sorry, I didn't ID him right here. I just wanted to show him in the middle of the field, running with the guy in man coverage, being able to turn, work with a two-way go, and be able to stay underneath the receiver and funnel him to the post, right? And who's that working the post? Your man, the Weapon X himself, Xavier McKinney right there, funnel him to the post. But look at that, being able to turn and run even when working naked outside, on the inside, working naked and still being able to compete right there. All right, look at my man's zone awareness right here. You're going to have a corner route by the tight end, but it originally looked like man coverage as he's across from the receiver here in the boundary. The receiver goes in motion, but he still has zone awareness to be able to cover his blade of grass. Check this out. Receiver goes. Look at him double back, stick the tight end, break up the pass. Got to see that again, man. Zone awareness, your football intelligence, being able to be patient, stay in your zone. Some people would panic in that situation, may end up following the receiver. That's exactly what Texas A&M wanted on that particular play right here. We'll see it from this angle. Nope. Smart enough there, and then played the hip pocket, and you see that length there with his arms. Nasty. Broke up that pass right there. A little press man coverage here of one of the baddest dudes in college football. Get well soon, George Pickens. You can see him right here. Ride his ass to the concession stand. Left him nowhere to go. Remember, the sideline is your friend. If he wants to peer to the sideline right here, all right, let's check the technique right here. Don't sweat the technique. All right, not too far over his skis. Pretty decent base width here. I like it. Two-way goal situation right there, being able to be ready for that. He immediately shoots, right? So he's a premature evaluator in that standpoint. You want to let George Pickens go ahead and declare, and then you shoot. But he shot first and then ends up guessing correctly on the second term because George Pickens does want to go to the outside. Remember, always shoot that right hand to the left shoulder pad just to find that range, right? Jab is a range finder there. And then your stab is a jab right there. But you see him right there? That's that length right there. George Pickens, long as hell too, right? So you got a couple of 6'2", 6'3" guys on each other right there, battling for position. And remember what I told you? It's like a referee or an umpire. Depends on, this is the same shit that was in the Seth Williams thing on a fade right there, but this ref does not call it. Pins his ass to the sideline, runs his ass to the concession stand. Like a coach used to tell me, run him to the concession stand. George Pickens having to pick out his Gatorade. Remember, it's a zone defense, so zone corners have to be able to tackle, and he is spectacular at it. Look at him, wrap up, no hesitation. He does not give a rip. He has a tackling mentality of a safety. And that's straight up. Look at that. No hesitation. We'll roam them flat duties with the best of them. James Bradbury just like that. Anybody who plays for a Patrick Graham has to do that. Anybody who plays for a Bill Belichick has to do that. Anybody who plays for Nick Saban. All the same coaching tree. Brian Flores, of course, out there in Miami. All these guys come from that same conglomerate, and they all have to have corners like that. Patrick Surtain, perfect. All right, here we go again. Let's talk about his ball skills right here. Now look at this right here. Another fade. He's the master at that. You cannot run that type of fade on him. And remember, this is the thing about some of these guys, right? They only defend certain types of routes. So he gets to really master this particular type of route, and you can tell. He is the master at it. He knows exactly how to get himself in situation. You can see right here, he comes out of a shuffle. Shuffle, and then he reaches for positioning there, gets himself on the inside of this particular receiver, bodies him up, goes up and gets that bad boy with two hands, has himself an interception. Conversely, check this out. What do we have here? Exotic dancer alert. Look at him. He's like, man, I ain't fucking with Patrick Surtain no more. I'm going to be an exotic dancer the rest of my life. What the fuck? Now, the further the ball goes down the field, I've noticed this. It's not all the time, but on occasion right here, he'll look like, I don't know if it's a concentration lapse, but he's unable to complete the task. It looks like he's in good position right there. Touchdown, right? Gives up a long touchdown to Florida and your man Trayvon Grimes. Let's dig in on this. Oh, yeah, make sure you support quality content, man. You got these cornball-ass places that'll take something like this and it'll be 5 seconds of it, and then they'll put a content ID claim on it, right, and get all the revenue. So support quality content for your boy. Whatever you want to send, man, anything is anything, man. The link right there on the screen. So we see right here, press coverage. I don't know. He likes to shoot that straight up, right? So press coverage. He does guess it right because Trayvon Grimes is going to the outside right there. But Trayvon Grimes is a big, strong dude. Yet another dude that the New York Giants should look at right there. And he kind of shrugs that off right there. But he does a good job of getting back into position right here. So we see a kind of a stutter and go right there. And Trayvon Grimes on his ass. But look, he's out in front of it and everything. He even starts to track when Trayvon is tracking. Turns and tracks. Now you get right into his hip pocket, right? That is the feel and search technique. Right, you got the feel of the receiver. Now you're searching for the ball. Y'all are both looking at it. Somebody tell me how does this happen? Now you can say a little bit of a shove by Trayvon Grimes right there, but look, he doesn't even get up for the downstroke. And Trayvon goes up and skies right up over him. And he's just like, sir, hello? He's talking to his teammates, looking at his teammates or something. I'm not sure what's going on right there. Gives up a long touchdown. And the rest is history there. So I don't know what to say about something like that. Here's another one right here. Seth Williams, vertical, right in position here. But Seth stacks him, and he's not in position. Good catch-up speed right there. Seth Williams not the fastest wide receiver you'll ever see there. You can see right here, feels like he's in good enough position, and he's tracking to where he could at least try to make this a little bit harder by like getting his hands up. But he's not even getting his hands up. He's just looking at the ball, and he's like, well, maybe he'll drop it or something like that. It's just those momentary lapse. And then he's always like what gets me sometimes is he'll like signal like it's not good or something like that. It's like, make the play. Don't try to make the call. You're not the referee. Check this out right here. Stutter and go. Right there in position. Gets Chris Cartered. Right here again. Check it out right there. Stutter and go. Now tell me he's not in position to make this play. Why doesn't he try to make a play on the ball? Great catch by the receiver. Great throw by Bo Nix right there. Then he's like, not good or something like that. It's like, come on, man. Like, you're too good for that. Try to make a play on the ball, even if it has to do with interference. Last thing right here, the fact that they work so much vertical bell. To me, these type of guys are unable to work against slant routes. They get beat pretty regularly on slant routes. Look at that, all that cushion given up to Kyle Pitts right there, the freak show himself. Look at that. Stemmed off of him, gave him an outside approach. He's working with a cold approach on Kyle Pitts, doesn't want to get his hands on him. Ball could have been thrown a little earlier from Kyle Trask, but it's great product placement right there, and he's unable to corral that. And, of course, he gets up and signals, not good, but it is good. Like, come on, why are you doing that? Whatever like that. But Patrick Surtain is a hell of a player, and he will be an excellent pickup for the New York Giants. Now, you can consider it a luxury pick, but I'll be honest with you. I'm not a huge Adoree Jackson guy. I would like to actually see Adoree Jackson work in the slot. Him working in the slot in tandem with Logan Ryan right behind him. They got that synergy from Tennessee. I'm not saying Adoree Jackson's going to do bad or anything like that. I just like a little bit more length on the outside, and Adoree Jackson, watching his career, man, he's had some struggles. Patrick Surtain added to that. And at the very least, if something were to happen to a James Bradbury, like knock on wood or whatever like that, he could step right in for him. Or he could start opposite James Bradbury. And, of course, you're going to always be starting in nickel these days anyway. Adoree Jackson will still be a starter. He'll just be starting on the inside. So what do you guys think about that? It wouldn't be that much of a luxury anyway. To me, Adoree Jackson signing should not preclude you from getting somebody that can be as great as Patrick Surtain has a chance to be. Now, Patrick Surtain, I think, can have a super long career. He can eventually transition to safety like Charles Woodson as well and extend his career. He's got that type of skill set. So let me know what you think about your boy Patrick Surtain. Make sure you support quality content. It's your boy Murph, the Underground King, man, giving you that heat rock, and I can give it to you now and not have to serve any time in the Bing. Come on, baby. You know what I mean? I love it like that. All right? So with that being said, peace.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.